Hello and welcome to one more episode. You can see that we are using different gear. Well, not just art, but I really swapped some things and I liked how they looked. So I also changed the illusion on my bracers. Now I'm using the harvest handguards. And we are exactly where we stopped, on the gates of Necropolis. You can also see that our skill set on the bar is a little bit different, because since I swapped my boots, now we have the ground stomp skill, and we also have the lightning storm that I think it comes from our rune squall, and that's a little bit of a fun thing. Until yesterday, I did not realize I was not even using a rune. Perhaps Sultana was just so damn powerful that I even forgot that runes existed in the game. So that is the ground stomp, and this is the lightning thing. It makes this, like this rain thing that keeps raining, and this rain cloud, sorry. Rain cloud. Can we speak properly, please and thank you? I'm in a better mood than yesterday. Sometimes, you know, you just need to wake up and play your poem songs, and the whole world enters in perspective again, falls in perspective once more. Or not, or sometimes you just wake up and everything's fine. That's fine too. That's acceptable as well. I'm not going to be exploring 100% of what there's to see on the gates of Necropolis, but I don't intend to just run by either. I'm going to try to find my little friend that lives here, that I always like to find, the undead smith. I just love the idea of an undead smith waiting in the Necropolis, because if you think about it, it's just perfect, right? The Necropolis is a city of the dead, and then there's a dead smith waiting for, I don't know, a new job, because everyone he was serving died, but he was the only one cursed to remain alive. So I mean, it must be lonely, and it's definitely not good for the economy. If you're, I mean, just put yourself in his place. You promised your kid that you are going to bring a new toy for Christmas. The toy that this kid has been telling you all about the entire year. You cannot even hear about the toy anymore. You're like Kratos on the new God of War to Atreus, being like, quiet, 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 because you cannot even comprehend what on this toy makes your kid so happy. But you're like, okay, I'm going to, by the way, I know the path we need to take to get to our next spot on the map, the Tomb of the Watchers, is going here to the right. I'm just looking for the smith. But then you're like, but okay, I'm going to find the toy, because I mean, I can buy the toy. It's not like a new console, and even if it was, a new console is always great, right? It always has great games and all. Even if it's something like Wii U, where you basically bought the Wii U because there was Bayonetta 2 to play, but then again. And then everyone just dies. You also die, your kid also dies, everyone's dead. But everyone is actually dead. But you are on an undeath moment. So look at him. He's like, whatever, man. I have a blue fire right here. My forge is not anything special, but it's working. Something to do. And then, as you can see, all the relics you have found on your other characters, or with your characters, you can make them here, the blueprints, everything. So you literally can stop on this spot if you are exploring everything and you're like, oh, I want to craft something. You can just stop here and craft whatever you want. Like skeleton keys, he's got it. Tainted Brain Matter, he can transform. Blood of Cthulhu into something else. Yeah, this is your guy, this is your man. So I just wanted to show you Horus, the Cursed Smith. Now that I showed you guys where the smith is, I'm going to make a quick cut and put us back where we should be. Right on that spot that I told you guys. No, I know this is the place. By the way, 18,000, 18k on the head of that poor guy. Well, not exactly a poor guy because he's a cultist, but then again, 18k. See you guys in a bit. And this is actually where we were. I don't even know why I made that quick cut, because it was like, no joke, 5 seconds walking back. Here we have a desecrated shrine. I'm going to start this, drop our stuff, and people have been dealt with, or better, the fleas have been dealt with. And we got the friendly thing with the outcast. The outcast faction, it's the Anasteria faction, as you can see by its symbol. And I mean, I don't know how one single person can be a faction. Well, okay, one single person and the mute skeleton that waits with her, but then again, how can 2 people be a faction? Like, I could tell you then that my brother and I are a faction. Like, oh, you need reputation with the Loghorreans. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? Anyway, here we get to the new Rift Gate. A bunch of creatures will be pouring from here. Nothing that we are not used to seeing. And once you deal with everyone, the Black Legion guys show up, because they never show up to actually help you in time. And right here is Loghorrean. Now, there's a fun thing, a fun fact that you can do. If you follow the Kaimon's chosen quest lines and all, to a certain degree, you will not only see Loghorrean here, you will also see the Archon, that ghost made of light, that the Kaimon's chosen have summoned, which in our playthrough is standing just beside Father Kaimon. So he shows up right here. Same thing for the necromancers. If you have already brought back Malkadar, which is the same revenant we fought into the Tomb of Archon, which was on our last episode, and the guy was holding the ashes of the Archon, Malkadar is going to be right here. Although, and this is something that I was like, what, lame, they don't go with you to fight the Loghorrean. And that's really lame, because they are already here. We are going to do everything to fight the Loghorrean anyway, so why not? I don't know, man. Anyway, if we talk to Loghorrean, he is going to give us the quest to destroy the Blood Wagons. The same quest that on my last playthrough with the Petmaster, I had to cut, and I thought that, oh no, I even have to fix the bridge. No, I don't have to. I was being stupid. It's just that back then I created so many characters, but I didn't explore that much with them. So what was happening was that I did not possess enough knowledge of the places I should go. By the way, let me just isolate this flea right here so the boat can hit just the flea. This is the Blood Wagon. The same Blood Wagon that I was trying to show you guys on the other playthrough, but my pet would always destroy the Blood Wagon before I could. As you can see, all the 6 glass jars are filled with blood. Sometimes in other places you can see wagons like this, which just some of the jars are filled, not all of the jars, or the jars are already broken. These are not the ones you are looking for in this quest. And now we're destroying the eastern blood wagon. Now basically what we have to do to find the other ones is almost follow a straight line from where, for example, these ones, you can see that 3 glasses are empty, 3 are still filled. This is not an acceptable blood wagon for our quest. Our quest demands us to cut the supplies that are creating kind of a, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A kind of a silicon wall of evil. I'm going to put it like that, because the word I'm looking for, I'm not being able to remember the word in English. So I'm going to stop in silicon wall of evil. I think that summarizes good enough. We just got to level 47. Not that I care much, as you can see that I even got those devotion points and I haven't spent them yet. Here we have another blood wagon. So this was the western blood wagon. Now the only one which is missing is the northern blood wagon. And if I make this path back, we are back to the Rift Gate. Oh, and here you can see, look at him, Archon Bartholom, whatever. The Ghost of Light with the dope ass hammer. He's here. He is here. Now let's sink all of our points here. Let's sink our points into cutting, because I like it. The blood flows. The blood I'm holding spilled like water from an upturned cup. It presses and climbs up the side of the glass, trying to return to its source. If the lids were not on so tight they would burst off, would the blood fall sidelong through the air to he who calls it back to him? I confess the urge to release one of the lids is strong, but my conviction is stronger. This is a test, and I will pass through fire and into the realm of the gods and legend. Soon the centuries of long sleep will be over, and when the Loghorrean wakes, the unbelievers will suffer for their lack of faith. So, as you can see, from the lore thing, now you understand. This is the wall of evil that is pulsating like an aura. If you put your mouse over, you can see a crypt entrance sealed by the coat of Cthulhu. And now, from the description, you can understand that those jars, they need to be sealed up tight. Otherwise, the blood is just going to escape. And they don't want the blood to escape just yet. That blood needs to be kept so that wall can prevent us from just entering and upsetting the ritual. Not that it worked for anything, because we just destroyed the last one, and now we can get inside the crypt and stop the summoning of the Loghorrean. Now, any sane person would just get in here and finish and make this an episode about the Loghorrean, which is why I'm going to enter the crypt. But as a madman, I have to make this known. My initial thought for this episode was like, oh, I'm just going to open the crypt, but instead of venturing myself inside, I'm going to make my own way to Anastasia and to her side quest. No, Anastasia can wait. Her side quests can wait. We can do that later. For the time being, let's hunt some Caphonics, let's hunt the Loghorrean, and yeah, it's basically that. We are sitting at a whopping total of 6,000 health, and that's 6,000 health without using Backs of Mordrogan, or a Heart of the Wild, or even Oakskin. So yeah, so imagine right now how much more health we could get. A lot. That's the short answer. A lot. Clarity of Valor. And yeah, this is going to be a lore-centric episode because there's just so many lore pieces, lore notes that we can find on our way to the Loghorrean that there's no way I'm going to stop and not show these things to you guys. With all the evil unleashed in this world, joining the Bloodsworn made so much sense at the time. At first it was to escape the horrors unleashed by the Ephirus, the death of my family, my wife, my son. But then later I started to understand and believe the words the cult leaders were telling me. The sense of belonging made me feel important. That was a part of something greater than myself. Because if you think about it just a little bit, don't we all have the sense of belonging in one way or another? I mean, I completely agree with you. I am a person that would rather just stay home alone most part of the day. But at the same time, we all kind of feel that sense of belonging, sooner or later. Now that I stand in the halls of this mighty place, I feel the eyes of all those that gave up their lives. The leaders, the great heroes, and the countless thousands who followed them. They fought so that we could live without fear of nameless things which now I serve. I can feel the honor and sacrifice of my ancestors, and I'm ashamed. Ashamed because of the terrors that I have left in my path. For months I have done the most vile and unspeakable things. The death of husbands, wives, and children are on my bloody hands for no other reason than to serve my own selfishness, to wash me clean of my own fears and the devastating loss that drove me to this madness. Death and murder, all in name of some lone dead god who has no more right to blood in my veins than I do. Blood that belongs to those who have killed in its name. The blood-soaked foundation of this forsaken battleground has peeled away the fear and awoken me. There is no forgiving what I have done, no punishment that will ever make it right. But I can give my last breath, my last drop of blood, and at last my life to cause as much damage as I can. I do not stand alone. The great heroes stand with me, and I do not. And yeah, I kinda read all of that trying to just walk and hit stuff. Maybe for you it was like, whatever. For me, it was a great step for humanity, for humankind, for commenting on YouTube. I mean, just imagine if one day I can open a lore note in a serious game like, I don't know, Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, and still being able to play with no problem. Although, to be honest, on Bayonetta, I think the lore kinda stops you from shooting things at the same time, right? If I remember correctly. We have another note here. The door has opened, so let's open the note. Something has changed. Something in the air feels different. It feels like being inside of a bottle when the cork has popped, all the pressure released, and my soul pulled from my body at the opening in an explosive release. My mind reels, and I find it hard to stay on my feet. I can feel it. Deep beneath the ground, they have finally completed the final rites, and the door has opened. The blood surges inside me, pushing, pulling, drawing me closer. I must go. I must see the Great Awakening. If I am chosen, I am ready to be whole once more, to be one with Cthulhu. And it's written by the same Kabbalist Sako. Which means if he's a Kabbalist, It means he's a necromancer and occultist, which is interesting. Here we have another one, the secret work. Gentlemen, I write this report to inform you that after 10,000 years, I think I'm like the genie from Aladdin, or Aladdin. Anyway, after 10 years of waiting, the Necropolis project has finally reached its final depth, and we are ready to begin the second stage. I have requisitioned requisites. I can speak requisites, right? Okay. Requisitioned slaves, building materials, and the rune-sealed crates to be shipped to the excavation site. I personally oversaw the transport of each of the deliveries and must inform you of one unfortunate incident. A wagon lost a wheel, and one of the crates was damaged, causing a seal to be broken. This resulted in a leak. The driver insisted on helping, and despite my best attempts to dissuade him from touching the contents, he got some of the leaking ichor on him. I dispatched the poor fool on the spot, a merciful end compared to what that vile fluid would have done to him. I have contained the damage and seen restitutions paid to the man's family. Besides this unfortunate incident, there were no further delays. The remains are safely stored at the bottom of the necropolis awaiting the completion of the prison. I have presented your documentation to the old architect in charge of the construction, and while he protested, he did not stand in the way of the imperial rite. However, in the few months since I have been here, he has insisted upon reviewing what is that we are doing to his great work, as he keeps calling it. I have expressed the lack of wisdom and safety of this course, but he persists. Hemal Listari has a family, which might be a source of leverage to force him to leave well enough alone. Unfortunately, I fear his curiosity may force us to take dramatic measures before this project is finished. Bestiaris, Imperial Arcanist. So here we see a different note. This one has not been written by the cultists. This one has been written by the Imperial Arcanist, for that matter. So what would have driven the Imperial Arcanists here? Probably during the kingship of the King Samuel, the last Arcanist king. What would have been so important that would force the Imperium to hire people to carry dangerous ichors and kill people who unfortunately touch those ichors to this place? What could be so important and so like so secretive that would force the Imperium to even bargain to an architect using his own family? The answer to this questions is this place we are walking in, the Seal of the Loghorrean. This whole place, named Seal, where from the depths you can see these tentacles and these things, it was created to lock inside this huge part, not even Cafon himself, just a part of him, to keep under sleep on a space of comatose, just a piece of this mighty old one. Right here we have the Bloodlord Talonis, which is a character that we have heard about it before. For example, Zarya the Carver mentions this guy, Bloodlord Talonis, and whenever you kill Talonis, this Caphonic rift right here appears, as if he was expecting for his death. his death was not an accident. Was not, oh, I'm here protecting, and then, oh, damn the adventurer, damn this so-called hero who came here and killed me. No, he was waiting for that. He wanted that. Right here we have yet another note, which for some reason I am unable to pick. Okay, thank you. The note is sealed in, and he also dropped one named the Final Seal. We are going to read both. Final Seal. At last we stand before the blood-soaked gates of victory. The Loghorrean will soon be awakened, and with it we shall usher in a new age. It is you, my loyal supplicants, that have paved the road to our final victory. Your dedication and sacrifice has carried us to the threshold, and I shall see us through. The ancients were determined in the construction of this final chamber. 100 of the Imperium's finest arcanists. So, as you can see, that note was from the first coming to this place, from many years ago, when they were able to lock down the Loghorrean, which is only the mouth of Cthulhu. Dropped dead to empower the runes which now bind the Loghorrean's tomb. They believe their sacrifice worthy, their seals impenetrable, but we have an army of thousands, surging with the power of the dead god, power that will not be contained. I have gladly put a blade to the throats of my most faithful, and felt the rush of their lifeblood escaping, blood they have given willingly in this final hour. With the power of their blood, I have shattered the final seal, and began the ritual. Soon the Loghorrean shall stir from its eternal slumber. The world will shudder once more under the gaze of the mouth of Cthulhu. Let the blood flow. Telonis, Bloodlord of Cthulhu. Also, Telonis is one of those enemies that I like his green drops, because sometimes he can drop his sword, which is a really good green sword, but his meadow, his green meadow, is also really nice. This one, especially if you are an occultist in the case, because plus 2 to Doom Bolt and 100% vitality damage converted to fire damage in Doom Bolt, so you can do things like playing a pyromancer, which is the demolitionist with occultist, and then you get that meadow and it's just on point. It's a Doom Bolt that just purges everyone out of existence. Sealed in. They promised us freedom in exchange for 10 long years of backbreaking labor. But now I know that we are all going to die in this place. Last night, while I slept, they took all the tools and the food. The entrance to the chamber is now solid rock, and buzzes with unearthly hum, as if a swarm of wasps were inside. We have been sealed in this horrible place with nothing but these ruin-covered crates. There is a putrid monster to them that bites at the back of your nostrils. I can stare at the writing on them for too long. They burn the eyes and blur the vision. I don't think we should open them, but the others are starting to get hungry and hoping there's food inside. I know there isn't any. Every muscle in my body is telling me to get as far from the crates as possible. The runes marking them are the same as we were ordered to carve in the walls of this chamber. I believe this is a prison of some kind, built to hold whatever is slowly oozing out of these containers, and now we've trapped here with it. I may have been on the losing side of the war, had to watch many of my comrades die on the battlefield, but this is no way for a man to die. This is also a lore note from the past, as you can see from the 10 years mention. By the way, now we have Stormcaller's Pact skill, which is going to increase our electrocute, cold damage, lightning damage and all. And now we shine with the power of Otos. Otena is finally getting to be one of Otos after so long. And since they were mentioned a war, since they were mentioned that he saw his comrades fall into battle, the people, the slaves brought here to construct the seal of Loghorrean, might have been necromancers. With no further delay, let's finish this. We can see Ogrin rushing into action here against the Loghorrean. We are going to drop our stuff here and hit the Loghorrean like there is no tomorrow. Ogrin has been consumed. Now there are some guardians that show up, and yeah, that was the Loghorrean. Not powerful enough to stop Otena. Woohoo! And man, this place is disgusting. Right here, this stuff are the treasure troves on this room. Some nice drops. Like, I really like the art of the bounty hunter's shoulder guards. But there's a bunch of other stuff here. No new arts, unfortunately, because the main reason I like to pick the blue stuff is because the blue stuff might contain new arts I'm not familiar with yet. And once you defeat him, you take the Chthonic Rift and you will be taken outside this room. On that room, you cannot open a portal. So if you like to open a portal before facing a boss because you're not sure if you can beat it on one go, you can open your rift, travel out there where you defeated the Bloodlord Telonis. And now our mission, our quest in the moment, is to go back and speak to Inquisitor Creed. And yeah, you useless piece of ghost light with a dope ass hammer. We don't need your help. Now we can go back to Fort Icon. One second. This episode is on the mark of 31 minutes, almost 32, which means it's coming to an end. But I cannot end this episode without our introduction to Malmouth. So we're going to tell Creed and watch this masterpiece of a cutscene, because I love this cutscene.
Arum Ital, Arum Ital, Lo If Soleil, Lo If Bismil, Morum Ulgrum Thonokolo Utoklein.
As you can see, that's the Loghorrean. Loghorrean's not dead. We just defeated his physical form. Also, the spell
This is too dangerous.
Creed uses
Need to find another way.
Close the portal.
The rift gate!
He
Something's coming
something
through!
attacks Saru. I can show you on the devotion page that attack Saru is not
Devil's Crossing was
just
attacked.
Take it easy,
words
John.
that make no sense.
What's happening?
Attack Saru is actually
Some
the
new
name
kind of ethereal.
of
Just smashed right through our
goddess,
defenses.
the Archangel
We need
goddess.
reinforcements.
So
We're in
it's
bad shape.
interesting that Creed
I'll send help, but I can't spare much. We're equally
utters
pressed
the
here.
names of the witch
Loss
gods
of Ulgrim
first,
to the void may be
Solel,
more serious than you
and
realize.
then
Ulgrim is dead,
when everything
Creed.
goes to shit,
You
he's,
must know
he's
that.
like, oh shit,
My
attack
people need
Saru,
help
protect
now.
us.
We won't
Close
survive
the
another
fucking gate.
attack.
John,
It came from Malmouth. That thing that attacked Devil's Crossing. I escaped the city with a small group 2 weeks ago. Most died crossing the burning fields. My father was pulled into the bog by cannibals. I had to leave him. I was the only one who made it to Devil's Crossing. Malmouth has been a living nightmare since the Grim Dawn. I was part of the resistance there, if you can call it that. The Ethereals toyed with us, as if we ever had a chance. They let us fight on because they needed us. Needed our bodies for the grotesque things they make deep beneath the city. You think you're safe here, behind your stone walls. But those things from Malmouth will keep coming, and they will find you. And no fortress will ever be able to save you.
a chilling tale indeed. In our fight against the Chthonians, we've overlooked a growing ethereal threat. We must find Ulgrim. But maybe we can aid Malmouth at the same time. You've already done a great deal, but we must ask for your help once again. We need you to strike at the heart of the ethereal invasion, far to the east, in the ruined city of Malmouth.
One thing that I really like that we get to appreciate from this cutscene is the fact that Inquisitor Creed, as his title speaks, he's an Inquisitor, but he's also an occultist. If you make this combination in the game, you will receive the title of Deceiver. Now, here's the interesting thing. It's like everything in Creed screams more occultist and witchcraft and warlock than Inquisitor. It's like he's the Inquisitor that took on the dark side to fight against evil. And now, as you are about to see on our next episode, Inquisitor Creed knew about the existence of a witch coven in Ogdenburg. Now, the Luminary, the Inquisitors, they are supposed to kill the witches. They're supposed to be like these witch hunters. But he not only knows about their existence, he knows exactly where they are and how to appease them to get them to be friendly to you, towards the player. So that makes me think if Inquisitor Creed is not someone that actually, how can I put this? He might have been an Inquisitor before the Green Dawn, but when everything went to shit and he realized that Inquisitor powers were like not good enough anymore, he started going towards the darker path. I really like this hypothesis, this idea. For the time being, I hope you appreciated the episode. I hope you like it. On our next episode, I want to reach the Coven, but I also want to start going a little bit back to side quests we have left behind, like Anasteria's ones. Or I maybe leave the Anasteria's side quests for a special episode, because she is always going to give you a bunch of side quests. So anyway, this is the end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, show your friends, whatever piques your interest or whatever your heart tells you to do, and see you guys next time.